My name is Sarah Davidson, the Clinical Director of the Counseling Services at the Wellness Center on campus. You're listening to the 10-Minute Tips podcast. Today we're going to talk about how to overcome intrusive thoughts. This topic comes up regularly as a struggle for students, so I wanted to share some tips about how to put a stop to intrusive thoughts before they get you down or stressed out. We're going to start by talking about what is an intrusive thought, why they're a problem, and how to take control of them. Let's start by defining intrusive thoughts. An intrusive thought is something that gets stuck in our mind and seems to run automatically out of our control. We all experience them, probably daily. The thoughts can range in their content from a silly song that just won't leave, all the way to, I wish I could just fall asleep and never wake up. This broad range means their impact also elicits a wide range of responses from us, like being slightly annoyed by the silly song, all the way to being severely distressed by an upsetting or repulsive nature of our thoughts. Thoughts can also be about an item, action, or behavior. For example, let's pretend there's a delicious chocolate cupcake in the kitchen and with just the right amount of frosting. The plan is to enjoy it after dinner a few hours away. You really wish you could think of something else, but all you can think about is eating that cupcake. Right away, you might be able to smell it and find yourself drooling, a great example of how our thoughts can create emotional and behavioral responses. Here's a pretty common example. Let's say you sent your friend a text 10 minutes ago asking them to text back ASAP. While you wait, your mind keeps straying away from the assignment you're trying to finish for school, and you keep looking repeatedly at your phone. Usually your friend replies within seconds. You know your friend always has their phone on them, as you've seen them texting other people steadily whenever you're together. Intrusive thoughts begin, and your behavior responds by looking at your phone repeatedly. You start imagining all the scenarios in which your friend is ignoring you. Is this something I said? Did my text sound needy or demanding? Are they tired of being there for me? Maybe they're with our friends and it's awkward for them because they didn't invite me. The fear of missing out sets in. Now you can't focus on your assignment no matter how hard you try. If you weren't singularly focused on your thoughts, you may notice your blood pressure increasing, your face flushing, your breath shallowing. Then finally, your phone vibrates. Your friend says, "Hey, what's up? I can talk now. Just got out of the shower." Ugh, all that undue stress from an intrusive thought. This intrusive thought about a friend not responding quickly became a rumination. This means that the intrusive thought became a constant tape playing in your mind. This is common, and especially so when we don't have answers to fill in the story. Something is unknown, or we need more data to be fully resolved. Think of ruminations as the brain's way to problem solve without having all the data. Ruminations can be harmful and even dangerous to our mental health when they are beyond our control and lead us towards self-harming thoughts. Thoughts impact our mood, so taking care in what we allow our minds to wander to and think about is a constant task. Just a thought about self-harming, intrusive thoughts. We actually all get them. They vary in degree and frequency, which is what we really need to attend to. We are especially vulnerable to self-harming ruminations when we are overtired, overwhelmed, grieving, or in unsolvable circumstances. Our mind is trying to help us solve the unsolvable by giving us an option out of pain. We're designed to heal and mend. It's hard on our minds to be an unsolvable or unknown situation, such as a breakup, loss of a loved one, disease diagnosis, or any other unknown scenario. Our mind knows our distress and can start solving the unsolvable with things like, it would be nice if I could just sleep forever. When self-harming intrusive thoughts become ruminations, especially if it's gaining in frequency or intensity, recognize the distress you're under and take some action steps. These steps can be simple to start with, such as pray for God's help and trusting Him with the future while you're also reaching out to a trusted family member or friend, or reach out to a mental health professional. So why are intrusive thoughts a problem? Where do they get their power from? It's pretty obvious why self-harming ruminations are problematic, but what about the more benign ones? Intrusive thoughts get their power from you, meaning that intrusive thoughts gain power when the people who experience them begin to worry about their meaning and may even decide they are significant. It is what happens next that is the bigger problem. We may fixate on them and become ashamed, decide they are secrets to be kept from others. Then an isolation begins and a misunderstanding of who we are, and maybe we even begin to doubt our value. Feeling helpless to our thoughts can happen quickly. We may think, if others knew these thoughts, they would be disgusted. What's wrong with me? I bet no one else worries about these things. Shame builds, as does the isolation and distortion. This is a vulnerable, lonely, and potentially dangerous place to be, stuck in unhealthy thoughts. We start using only a small portion of our thoughts and fall into negative bias, where we believe and create our story solely from thoughts that evidence these untrue, intrusive thoughts we are stuck in. Negative self-talk can quickly take hold and create beliefs about ourselves that reduce our resiliency and weaken our resistance to future intrusions. Let's return to our friend text scenario from earlier. Our scenario played out several cognitive distortions, such as all or nothing thinking, which limits the possibilities we consider, catastrophizing, or making something bigger than it is, mind reading, where we start making up a story about what someone else is thinking about without using their words, or telling the future, usually based on fear or worry. Cognitive distortions have been proven to contribute to mental health issues such as depression and anxiety. They also lead to missed opportunities and demoralizing of self. It is a muddy, murky mess. But don't worry, there's a way out, and we're getting to that next. So let's talk about how to take control over our intrusive thoughts. We spent the first few minutes talking about intrusive thoughts to show the importance of taking back the power before these thoughts carry our mood and self-confidence away. Our consistent response matters. Reducing self-judgment and improving our inner self-talk also matters. For this, we turn to reframes. Let's return to our cupcake example from earlier. That yummy cupcake tempting us on the counter all day. What if, instead of wishing away the thought about the cupcake and putting yourself down for obsessing about it, you responded in a new way? What if, every time you thought about the cupcake, you said to yourself, I am going to really enjoy that cupcake after dinner. And even just imagined it for a second and just had a little bit of enjoyment there. There are so many good things about this reframing response. A, you get to enjoy the cupcake longer because its enjoyment has already started before this great cupcake eating event, soon to come after dinner. B, you avoided putting yourself down and all the shame that comes from negative self-talk. And C, you get to feel more in control of your thought life because you're not feeling attacked for having a perfectly normal and natural thought about a cupcake. The cupcake will be a positive experience later instead of a source of annoyance because you felt powerless to it earlier in the day. Win, win, win. Not only does this type of positive reframing work for this moment, but each time you practice it, you're changing your brain to be more kind and accepting of yourself. Another solution to try is redirection. Prayer, reading the Bible, church, charitable work, reading for fun, listening to uplifting music. Music also impacts our mood, so go with something that leads you into a positive versus keeps you down. Journal to get an understanding of what is going on inside and release some of what you are stuffing. Do a random act of kindness, be creative. Paint, sew, write a poem, make a song. Get into that other side of your brain. Whatever you do, you also need to talk with someone you trust, especially if the intrusive thoughts have become ruminations. There is power in community, in being able to express ourselves safely to others. Speak to a family member, a friend, or a counselor. In conclusion, thoughts can be annoying and distracting, but are not necessarily causing harm simply by experiencing the thoughts. These thoughts are just thoughts, like thousands of other thoughts we have streaming through our mind. They can seem to appear out of nowhere, cause distress, but have no significant meaning in your life. They are not necessarily warning signs or red flags. They are simply thoughts. We are more than our thoughts. Say that a few times. I am more than my thoughts. I am more than my thoughts. But remember, don't struggle alone. Intrusive thoughts can become ruminations, which can quickly become irrational, short-sighted, and heavy. They're a sign your brain is stuck and needs help. There are many ways to unravel the stuck feeling, especially if redirecting, reframing, and talking about it with friends and family are not enough. You can always reach out to academic success, campus ministry, student development, and of course the Wellness Center for assistance. We are here to help you shine.